Hello and welcome to an edition of Tanya Talks. Who am I talking to? I am talking to two fantastic, not only voice actors, but fantastic voice coaches. So we have got Pierre Maubouche and we have got Deanna Cooney. And I hope I said that name right. And if I didn't, I'm sorry.
You did. You did.
Why have I chosen these two coaches of all the coaches in the world? Why these two? Well, because actually we share similar principles on what we do about coaching. We don't just coach anybody. We have very straight views. We're very straight talking. And these are all the things that I embrace: integrity and honesty and fairness. And so with that said, welcome to this Tanya Talks. And the first thing I wanted to say to you, the first point I want to talk about is there is no qualifying board guild for coaches, is there, guys? No. Correct. So I thought we should have one. And this is just my suggestion, so come up with your own if you want to. But I was thinking in a kind of a tip to, this is going to sound wrong now, a tip to the French here. I thought we could do like coaches of quality. COQ, right? COQ would be our brand name.
So that's your
like you're a member of COQ. Is COQ?
I think it's titillating.
Titillating.
People will be interested.
They would. Coaches.
That's a good COQ tip. Yeah.
Good COQ tip. That was why I was laughing before, because I had that word tip on the end of my tongue. No. Please, I'm in the wrong company for these jokes. So coaches of quality, but what else do you think people, newcomers, we'll look at newcomers first. Newcomers, I want to be a voiceover. We've all had it. What should they be looking for? How do they choose a good coach that may be right for them? What do you think?
Well, I mean, for starters, I think a good coach should also be a good teacher. You know, like it's all well and good for someone to be a professional in their field. And I think that's a given. Like if you're going to coach in a profession, in a field, you should be experienced in that field and you should be operating at a standard that like is of high coaches of quality, right? Also, I think you need to be a good teacher. Just being good at a thing doesn't make you able to break it down into its individual components and identify what people's skill levels are around those things and then give them the tools and the techniques that are specifically required by them to get them to wherever they want to go, you know?
Yeah.
There's teaching modality there, right? And I think if you're going to work with a coach, if you're looking for a mentor, that might be a little bit different, right? Because it's conversation based. But if you're looking for a coach, you want someone who can teach you the stuff. I think that's really important.
Yeah, I agree. You want somebody that gives you methods that you can use and take away with you so that when you are working in the industry, you can call on those techniques.
Yes.
Pierre, I'm sure you would agree.
I mean, completely. It's obvious that when you coach people, you've got to be able to convey. I mean, some people are brilliant at their jobs and they can't coach. And also some people are less brilliant than the very, very brilliant people, but they're brilliant. They're great coaches.
Do you think, though, to be a great coach in our industry, as Deanna said, you should really be a great voice actor as well? Do you think it's possible to teach the voiceover techniques that we know we use every day if you are not a voice actor yourself? Pierre, what do you think?
The pure techniques, as in mic techniques and all that, maybe not, or I don't know, a sound engineer could teach you mic techniques or stuff like that. But I think it's not necessary. I used to be an advertising copywriter before being a voiceover, end of the 80s and beginning of the 90s. So I used to direct people like us. I was on the other side of the mic, and that helps me a lot as a voiceover. Because I understand that side, and some people who are producers or voice directors or are very, very good coaches, and that they're not voice actors. So for some of the stuff we do, yeah, I think it's.
Yeah, because I think some of the things, yes, you're right. And of course, there are people that write copy or the people that are producing, but they're not actually, they don't know how to direct properly. And that's a whole nother ballgame. Getting directors to say things that the voice will understand and try and make some sense of, because we know that whole, what is it? Go slower, sound faster. But I think some of the techniques that I do, especially with breathing and things like that, I think you've got to be able to do that in order to teach it. And I know that there are coaches or people that say they're coaches out there that literally just tell people how to say things. And if you just tell somebody how to say it and they've got a reasonably good ear, they can mimic you. But they can't have you next to them in the booth every time. They've got to be able to do it off their own bat. And I think that's absolutely important.
Completely, yeah.
Yeah. I would agree entirely. There's and Pierre, you mentioned, actually, it might have been Tanya, I'm not sure who, mentioned about the directing kind of component of, you were both talking about it in different ways, right? Like, it's one thing to direct a person, right? And if you're a good director and a good coach, you can combine those two things and you can teach people while you're directing them. I think that can be really valuable for people, but just directing is not, like you said, it's not the same as imparting skill sets. And I think it depends on what your goal is, I think, as a coach, right? Like, my goal is to not have people be my clients forever. I don't want them to be my clients forever. No, I want to teach them the stuff, and then I want them to go out into the world.
That's what I say. I want you to go away.
Go and do your thing, right? Explore, learn. If you decide that there's something you want to polish, come back, talk to me, right? Like, I want you to be my client forever, right? It'd be nice to work together forever, but I don't want you like hanging off me like you need me for things, right? That is the antithesis. Yeah, exactly. That's the antithesis, I think, of my role as a coach. My job is to, like, I want to teach you how to fish so that you can fuck off and find your own fish.
I mean, for me as well, I think the thing is, it's like I have a really strong feeling about show reels. This drives me mad. And I often say, what is a real reel? So when we make show reels with people, when I make show reels with people, we do things in the style of, we don't use brand names, because producers know you're not the voice of Cadbury's if you're not the voice of Cadbury's, for example. And but they do them in style. And if they are versatile, they have to show versatility. But what I hate is that the fact that anybody, literally anyone, can walk into some studio, say, hi, I want to be a voiceover. They sit them down, and within 2 or 3 hours, they've told them how to say everything. They've made a reel. There's your reel. Off you go. Go and work. Well, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how they did any of what there's on their reel. And I actually find this immoral. It drives me insane. I mean, what are your thoughts?
It is completely immoral. If you arrive, if you've got a session, you arrive, you don't know what to do, then you shouldn't be.
You're not doing the job.
You shouldn't be there. You shouldn't be there. And if a coach made you believe that you can be there after, doing a demo with them, that's immoral, as you say.
It is immoral because they can't work off it. Yeah. And you are only as good as your last job. And if you go into, I know directors who've booked people from a reel. And
of course,
when they've got them in the studio, they can't do it. And I said, well, no, because it's not genuine. It's, they haven't had to go through, with me, they have to go through certain stages to get there. And we do a lesson and we throw everything at them. They have to go from sad to upbeat to overwritten to underwritten to, you name it. Say if we're doing commercial, obviously, okay. But, and they've got to jump through a lot of hoops so that when they go. And I get students sometimes saying, am I ready yet? Am I ready to do my reel? And I'll go, nearly, but there's still things you're doing now which I wish you weren't doing. And until you stop doing those things, as far as I'm concerned, no. And then they've always thanked me. Thank you so much for not letting me do the reel then. But at the start of many journeys with a new student, the first thing is, when will I make my reel? And I say, how long is a piece of string? I don't know. But that's the honest answer, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Well,
my first...
Go.
Sorry, you want to go? All right, go. My very first voiceover client, actually, who is a dear friend of mine now, right? She came to me as an actor, and she knew people that owned a studio that made commercials and stuff. And so she'd gone to high school with them. They were mates of hers. So she's an actor. She's a beautiful actor, really good actor. She went and saw her friends. She's like, I want to do voiceover. They directed her through some reads, and because she's an actor, she was easy to direct and get emotion from and all that kind of stuff. And she made a reel, and then she found an agent, and the agent like heard the reel and went, this is good, excellent, and you're an actor, fantastic, right? And she got booked off the demo, right? Went and did her first job. Happened to be coming into the studio directly after I was in there, and so showed up a bit early and saw me doing my thing for 10 minutes, right? And I left, and she jumped in the booth, and she had no idea what she was doing. None whatsoever, of course, right? No experience, no training in this area, right? And we all know it's radically different to acting in front of a camera or on a stage.
Totally.
Right? Like, it's just,
It's not the same job.
yeah. Right, like it's eons apart. It's like on another fucking planet, right? And
Yes.
she just basically tried to replicate what I'd done. But I'd been reading something very different, totally different style. Also, it's me. I'm not her, right? We're different. And it turned out that they couldn't use what they recorded. They had to get another voice talent in. And she didn't find out until she saw how much she got paid for it, which was just a submission, which is what you get, in Australia if you show up to it's your studio fee, right? And she found me and she rang me and she went, this happened. And can you help me? I'm like, okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
and it
I
took
can
away her
help you. But
confidence.
also she almost burnt some people doing that as well, right? Like it took 12 months before the studio that booked her, that hired her again. They were very fucking wary, right?
And she was very lucky.
You would be, wouldn't you?
Rightly so.
Right.
But she's got a beautiful career now, and she's doing heaps of voiceovers and all that kind of stuff. She's doing really, really well. Yeah.
Pierre, you were going to say about, you get people that you turn down for coaching because they're not, you like to teach more advanced people, don't you? Am I right or not?
No, not really. Not really, no. What I was going to say before is when you're in a coaching session and you feed, as a coach, voice producing coach, you feed somebody, you can feed them so much that, as you said, it can just, give it a few hours and you have a great commercial with anyone. But in a real session, in the real world, you arrive, people don't really, producers or clients, they don't really know what they want. They know what they don't want, that's for sure. But they don't really know exactly what they want. And it's very rare that people take you to a place where you are completely directed, you're in the funnel and you know exactly where to go because they take you to places by producing you. It did happen to me, but most often it's not like that. Most often it's that, and then there's the usual, not usual, but can you make it brown but with a bit of light at the end of the tunnel kind of stuff? And of course it's ridiculous, but that's how they see it. If that means something to them in their head, that does mean something. It's our job, it's
to interpret, right?
Well, it's all very easy to blame them and say, twat. But it's our job to be detectives and to go and dig for what they want. It's like, well, okay, but
that's exactly, you just used the word detectives. That's what I say to my students. We are script detectives. You look at a script, you find the clues are in the script.
And, that's so cool. I call it interrogating the script.
Oh, okay. So you
said you were
outside the table. I'm like, So, and it's a similar thing because, and for anyone listening or watching this podcast, we haven't talked about these things. So basically, like Deanna has not just said that because I said detectives. This is why I wanted these two coaches on this podcast, because we do think alike. And it's like, because you go into a studio, as you said, and it can be, but can you give it a bit more this on that word and a bit more this and a lift on here? And if you're not experienced, you really don't know what they're asking for because often they don't know what they're asking for. You have to do everything you can within your power to find them because at the end of the day, you are the talent and you actually are the lowest rung on the ladder as well, even though you're so important.
I reckon this is actually a really, really massive component of why coaching is important, right? Because as anyone can, like Pierre just said, you can put anyone in front of a microphone and elicit a performance out of them in a couple of hours, right?
Yes.
By feeding them line reads and parroting and all of that kind of stuff, right? But the ability to listen, interpret, and then deliver means you've got to build your vocabulary, right? You've got to build your ability to not just understand what's being asked of you, but to translate it into the tools and the techniques and the skills and all the bits and pieces that you have available to you. And that takes time and exposure to lots of different things outside of what you already know, right?
Absolutely.
And so as a coach, it's our job to help people expand their vocabulary and expand their experience and build verbiage around stuff. So they've got the ability to even translate things themselves, and that just takes time and practice and reps and reps, but then also exposure to many, many different things. If you practice the same 7 words in a language over and over again, you're not expanding your vocabulary.
No, absolutely. And I was going to ask you, I mean, obviously we're talking perhaps here from a beginner's point of view, but how many, do either of you get more advanced people coming who have got bad habits and we have to break those habits? And that actually is harder than teaching sometimes a new student, isn't it?
100%.
Excuse me.
100%. I think that's probably my area of specialty as a coach, to be honest, right? Like working out what people's patterns are, identifying them very quickly, and then helping them find ways to interrupt those and build new practices. That's like, I'm obsessed with that shit. I fucking love it, right?
But they get
give me someone with some shitty patterns, I'm going to get in there and fuck with it all, right? Like, it's
I
so
can't
much
bear
fun.
the patterns. I can't bear that.
But also breathing patterns, and like ways of moving and standing, and that there's so many like intricacies to what we do. And because it's founded in breathing and speaking that we've been doing for our whole fucking lives, everyone has these really ingrained patterns, right? And the longer someone's been doing something, the more hardcore that pattern is, and the harder it is to break. Like that was a really big deal for me.
Yeah, no, I like doing that too.
Voice actor.
But it's when they don't believe it. When you say, no, I am going to make you sound real. I'm going to give you a natural read. And they're so used to going, if you're looking for a new carpet. And I'm saying, you're looking for a new carpet. And they're like, oh, it's going to sound terrible. Oh.
People think they're going to be boring.
They do. And then I say, no, listen to that. And then they're like, oh, that's me.
They're speaking the way they think they should speak. They're not
correct.
Speaking.
Absolutely. What they think a voiceover should be.
It's a pattern. Well, exactly. You asked me if I was teaching only advanced or, and it's not really that. I mean, first of all, I've got to be satisfied that people have it's very difficult to define, but they have a sensibility with the script. And some people, including very, very bright people, will never be able to do our job because they don't have that sensibility. That, I don't know if that can be taught. I still don't know if that can be taught. But other than that, I mean, there are people who are really experienced and as you said, they fell into patterns. And they don't want to revisit that because they think, oh, I've been voicing for 30 years or what have you. And they never really did anything significant because
you've got to change. Voicing has changed so much from when we all started to what it is now.
Oh completely. My God.
I know.
And they're limited and they don't want to. I'm going to give you an example which illustrates that. My approach to voice actors. I directed, what was it, 3 years ago? 3 years ago, I guess. A game for Ubisoft, which is called Riders Republic. It's extreme sports stuff. And I directed the French localization of it. I didn't do the casting, and I had a lot of really total noobs some people with very little experience, some people who've been working from their home studio but never set foot in a commercial studio, in a studio. You know. And I had two or three, I think three actors who, you know, were a bit experienced. They do theatre, you know, they more or less make a living with it. And then they do voiceovers from time to time. They were the hardest to deal with. Because the way I work when I direct is I create the character with the actor. I spend time with the actor, just to create that character with them, so that, you know, they embody that character, and they don't play that character, but they embody that character, which for me is completely different. I hate the word to play a character.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe ain't all that way, but
becoming always sounds so wanky.
Yeah, well, yeah, but
I like inhabit. I like inhabit.
It just inhabiting that character, you know. So anyway, and those who were, you know, who had experience, they were coming with voiceover tricks, actors' tricks. You know, like the lawyers they do with their big sleeves, you know, the shake and you know, feel a and first of all, I had to. I had to have them get rid of that. So that was extra work. You know, obviously there are really good actors who understand how to inhabit a character and you know, but this thing of, you know, being an actor.
Yeah, and I totally agree. So I agree with you 100%. But I want to move on with this theme about coaches of quality, who would never do that.
Coming back to the cock, hey? Always.
Yeah, when we got back into cock, is red flags. Briefly, put the cock back into the program. Yes, that's never going to get tired. Never going to get tired. And what are red flags? Because, you know, I saw somebody the other day put out a course. Okay, now I don't believe in courses because everybody's an individual, so I don't do a course. I mean, saying that, there are courses you can do, I guess, but they would have to be very cleverly tailored. But your genuine course, okay, I think you do a course, don't you, Deanna? But I bet it's not a long one. I bet it's an intro one, right?
It's actually it's a hybrid, right? So what I found is the things that I was saying over and over and over and over and over again, right? Yeah. I just recorded them, right? Yeah. So and actually what it is I used to run it live. And I would run cohorts of it live, like this 8-week kind of program, and lots of in-person coaching, and I taught it live and all that kind of stuff. And what I found is there were elements of it that were really repetitious. And so I took those from the recordings of the live events and turned them into modules. And then that's paired with lots of like coaching opportunities, hot seat opportunities, self-direction training, Q&As, all of the bits, so that people can also be getting stuff that's catered for them specifically.
But that's a bit different to your average person that says, I've got a course. So what you're doing is it's a clever idea, and I like it because, yes, sometimes you do have to repeat things a lot. But most people, they need that individual one-to-one, which is the best way to learn always, I think, as well. And I saw somebody the other day, and he's saying, like, I can teach to be a voiceover in a 7-week course. And then he's talking about, I know. And then he's talking about the voices that he can do, character voices. Now, I don't know about you guys. If somebody's going to tell me they're a character voice, don't just give me one line. I want to know that you can maintain that. Also, isn't that the character that Seth MacFarlane already does? So we don't really want that, do we? You know, and things like that. And I'm thinking, you're going to take people's money. So that was a big red flag for me. What are your red flags? What do you think people should look out for?
Sorry to interrupt, but just after I'm going to forget. The thing of, I have 137 voices that I can offer. Yeah, what about if I want the 141 that doesn't exist? It's just, how can you be so stupid? I mean, everything is different. Every project is different. You want the smiley, happy? Oh, I'm gonna do. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, they don't understand that shades of. It's like shades of. You know, we have lavatory paper here. It's shades of.
Wow.
Crazy. Laboratory
you
paper.
do what's required. You don't do like,
I don't know why I said that.
Oh, you want that? Okay. Oh, yeah, that's number 83. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like going to a jukebox, right?
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
That is just
Voiceover
ridiculous. It's just
I'm sure
ridiculous.
somebody did that once. That sounded very
I feel
familiar.
like that's been done. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I reckon
so.
the red flags.
The red flags.
That I reckon you should look out for is anything that promises an end result that is like you will book X jobs or you can have a demo at the end, right? Like,
absolutely.
If someone says to you, do this program and we'll record a demo for you at the end, assume the demo is going to be shit.
Yeah. I couldn't have put that better myself.
Like, I just think, like, consider it practice. Don't look at it. If you want to do a course, do a fucking course, right? Like, absolutely. Go do the thing. It's your money. Do whatever you want with it, right?
You will need some one-on-one.
Yeah. If you expect to get a good demo at the end, that it just isn't going to happen. All right. For starters, no one's going to be able to cater things to you and what your unique talents and skills, but also your opportunities and all of that kind of stuff that are available to you. That never happens in a do this course, create a demo at the end. No. And you're probably not going to develop the skill set that's appropriate to produce a good demo at the end. So I think, if that's something that's offered in something that you do, if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, there's this course I want to do and they're going to give me a demo at the end, just write the demo off. Assume it, like consider it practice. Consider it an opportunity to practice.
Yeah, or if it's like, want to earn, extra like 40,000 a year as a side hustle, come and be a voiceover. It's like, why not do that, please? Because that's a load of crap. It's not going to work like that. It's a very overly saturated market now, not necessarily with fantastic talent, although there is some great talent, of course there is. But do you know what I'm saying? In the pandemic, everybody thought they could be a voice actor even before then. I've had people say, I've been told I've got a nice voice. When I'm on the call centre, they always want to talk to me longer. Okay, it's a little bit different, though, but we can start with your nice voice and see how your ears are.
I love that. See how your ears are. Because it's so much more about your ears than your voice. You are so correct. That is so true.
But also the collective courses, it's just like speaking by numbers. Like drawing by number, speaking by number. It's like, you do that, okay, you've got to do it like that. Then, if it's hard sell, it's got to be like that. If it's this, and it's just so wanky. I mean,
I call it like that, painted by numbers. Or like when you watch an amateur production or with some really poor stage actors, and you can literally see them going, bottom stage left. You can actually see by the way they're walking, they're following a direction in their head rather than just making it natural. People voice like that too, and I can hear the joy and I can hear the thought.
Yes, exactly. And the other thing is about demos. I do workshops. I do about twice a year, and I do workshops with 8 people maximum, and it's commercials and high-end institutional, corporate in English. Sorry, and the workshops. I'm not the only one. There are other great coaches in France, but as soon as you see a promise of a demo at the end of the workshop, just run away. It's bullshit. It's impossible. It's just impossible.
It is.
Okay, we're gonna take your takes and put them together and give you a demo. It's ridiculous. I let them have their takes, and the takes of others because that way you can listen to what the others did and what you did, and it's great to realize that there's not one way to skin a cat. So that's but no, you can't have a demo at the end. It's impossible.
No. I think you can't overpromise. I underpromise because I never want to let people down. I want people because I have faith in people and I care about them. And I'm sure both of you almost end up sometimes being a bit of a life coach when you're getting into this. And you get to know these people really well and become friends. And our students become friends with each other as well, which is really nice. Yeah. But it is important that we handle their kind of. We have a hell of a responsibility as a good coach, because if you are one of these people say after 7 weeks I'm going to make you this thing. You're not taking responsibility for that person's fragile ego, their lack of skill, and you're just sending them out. It's like sending a toddler to walk down to the shops. You know what I mean?
I think also, to go back to, how do we choose, the people who study with us? I guess we'll do it on audition, but
I do it on audition.
We choose them after auditioning them, and sometimes it's not that they're hopeless. Sometimes it is, but sometimes but sometimes it's just a match. Sometimes I feel that some people would be better off studying with somebody else than me, just because the match, the characters, I tend to be quite frontal, and some people can't take that. And that's fair enough, because sometimes I'm a bit too frontal, see. And then they shouldn't study with me, because, they're going to become defensive. Then
and that doesn't work, right?
It's not going to work.
You need a safe environment. You need to feel safe and comfortable with your coach.
Absolutely.
That's another red flag, I guess, right? Like if you sit down and it's not a red flag because the coach is bad, right? It's a red flag because the relationship isn't conducive to you being able to do the thing, right? You can't learn in a stressful environment. You just don't.
No. I mean, it's stressful enough putting it's like singing in front of somebody. You're so vulnerable. I think the thing is there's a difference, because like what you're saying, Pierre. No, Pierre. Oh, God.
You've got it.
No, I know. Shush.
Don't change.
Bon sang. No, I was just going to say that sometimes it's been a very stressful morning, all right. But basically, I was going to say that I think as well, I mean, I'm very straight with people, but I'm not unkind. However, I have had, the odd student that has had the Tanya glint, and that, as my husband calls it, my Tony Soprano eyes.
Nice,
and basically, and they've said, well, you haven't said this, haven't said that. And I've just gone, oh, you want a coach that blows smoke up your ass, do you? That's not me. You need to find another coach. If that's what you want, I'm not the coach for you, because I'm never going to lie to you, but I'm not going to be horrible to you. I'm going to try and do every nice way. And if you're too thick-skinned to take the point, then I'm sorry, I'm going to give it to you in both barrels. But I very rarely ever have to do that, because people know themselves. And if people aren't prepared to put the time in, oh, well, such and such a person told me I sounded wonderful. Did they? Bye then.
Go coach with that person.
Go coach with that person.
That person to teach.
I think you can learn under pressure. That's
under pressure. Absolutely. I agree with that.
Army,
under pressure, for sure.
In the army, that's even the goal, to put you under pressure to see if you can take it or not.
It doesn't help with emotional expression, though.
No.
So, no. But if you are in a city, because if you're what was the English word, mollycoddled. If you're, it's all nice and lovely, and then you arrive in a session and the producer is a bit. I mean, we've all had pretty off, sometimes offhand. What was it?
Some bastards, basically.
Some fuckers being nasty.
You need to know how to handle that.
Yeah.
If you arrive in a session and you've got somebody who is a bit verbally abusive, which is very rare, but it does happen. You need to be able how to handle yourself, how to handle the situation, both in a polite, diplomatic way, but at the same time not let people lead you, because these people, if you give them that, they're gonna take that.
They're gonna own you.
It's rare. I mean, 30 years being a voiceover, I had that maybe 3 times. So, it's super rare. But you need to be able to work under pressure.
I think you've got to work your way up to that, though. Do you know what I mean?
I absolutely.
It's like you got to scaffold the risk and the pressure and stuff. And I mean, but that's why having a coach is really good, right? Because it's an opportunity to learn some shit in a much lower risk environment before you just go and dump yourself in the high risk environment.
That's why one-to-one, if you can, even better than group coaching. Group coaching is good for certain things, but one-to-one, even though it might be more costly, it actually really gives you more bang for your buck, because that's why I was saying about the courses thing, because although the basics are there, there are so many students with different things. You know, there's people with lazy S's. There's people with lazy R sounds. There's people that can't understand certain sounds. They can't understand where the stresses should be. You know, when I'm working with American students, I know that they put the stress on the second word. In English, we put it on the first word. So I have to make sure that I don't tell them the wrong thing for them. And that's quite tough on me to think they're American. Don't make them do that, you know, and things like that. But I do think it's important. Okay, so going on to that, what makes somebody have potential to be a good voice actor?
Now, hang on, Tanya.
Yes.
But before we move on to that,
yes,
you asked about what red flags.
go on. Yes,
for coaches, and for me, it's one of my pet hate. Just hustlers. I just freaking hate them with a passion. So for me,
don't mention any names on there.
Specific red flag. I won't say any names, but specific red flags. People who boast about being, best thing since sliced bread and gurus and blah blah blah. And you go on their website, there's nothing significant. And it's shit. It's completely amateur and stuff. You go on their YouTube channel, there's nothing. They can't be what they say they are, because we all know that we need to promote ourselves. For people to hire us, they need to hear what we do. It's our shop window.
It is.
And if you've got nothing, that means you've got nothing to show, and you're fake.
It's funny, people just turn up, don't they? They disappear. There's somebody, I've taught, the natural read for years now, and it's a very, very hard thing for a voice actor to do, because it's going against everything we've been taught. It's small, it's controlled, but it has to be as connected as possible. And then you get people just turn up out of the blue, and then this person's teaching this. Okay, then you look at whatever they've got. You don't see any examples of what they're doing. You don't hear any examples of what they're doing. So how do you know what they're going to do for you?
Well, exactly. And I always tell people, Google. You see somebody who claimed to be, God in their job, whatever.
Yeah. Just Google them.
Google that. If you can't find anything on them, on their website, on their YouTube channel, they're probably crooks, right? So there's another one. There's another one, which is people, coaches, who promise to include people in their roster if they take coaching with them. And
excuse me while I vomit in my lap.
That's probably illegal.
Yeah.
I think so.
Illegal.
Yeah.
It should be.
And depending on the country, it should be.
I agree.
I
don't say that. I've got a thing on my page called the Rich List. The students are on there are students that they're graduates. They have gone through the whole training with us. They were good enough to make their reels. They are consistently good enough. They have top-up sessions, but they also have something perhaps different to offer. Sometimes we can't put all our students on there, but that's just because maybe we've got too many that have a similar sound or whatever. However, people say to me, do you act like an agent? I went, absolutely not. They're there. There's their website. You contact them. I'm just highlighting them as good students from me. That's what I'm saying.
I've got a page with...
It's not a roster.
I have a page where people were kind enough to write, little testimonials for me. But it's just that thing. And plus on their roster, but they don't hire voiceovers. So what is their roster good for? You see what I mean?
No.
It just promise of work. Like if you come and study with me and give me your wonga, then that is just
No.
And there's another one coaching.
That?
Yeah,
but all of it is
exactly. There's another one coaching that really, get on my tits, which is the use of big actore thespian words. They sound great and stuff. And it just to make themselves look like experts, but it's not how it works. It's just, when our job is to talk to people, not to, be a thespian. It's just, But it just to look good, like to say, "Oh, I'm a big actor." It's just...
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's fine if that big actor is from the Royal Shakespeare Company is doing a masterclass on acting for Shakespeare. Great, let's go and do that with them.
Exactly.
You know, right? Okay, now moving on before Alicia starts shouting at me. Those of you who don't know, Alicia is very strict. She's producing this show. So, do you think being musical helps you as a voice actor?
It can. The same way that being an actor can help you as a voiceover, right? Like I have a few really successful clients who have a musical background, and it has helped them enormously. But they've also had to do an extraordinary amount of work to turn off a lot of their singer stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like the breath supply and support kind of stuff. Like everything comes out of them like it's a fucking belt, you know? So... Like there's a lot of undoing of like lots of core control and big sound and microphone technique is shit for voiceover if you've been a singer, right? Because it's a different microphone and you use it differently. But that understanding of melody and cadence and rhythm and
the music in the script,
and also like a lot of singers are able to really express a lot of emotion through words, any kind of words. They don't, they don't rely on the words. They're able to put emotion behind any words that they say. Yeah. And that can be transformed into a really powerful voiceover skill, you know, but it requires transformation. It requires taking those skills and putting them in this other context, just like acting, you know?
Yeah. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask Pierre his own question because I think you answered that one extremely well. So here you go. People often they put the cart before the horse, as we say in the UK. They buy a studio, they have marketing lessons, they buy an expensive mic, and then they think, now I'm going to have lessons. So, but knowing what our business is like now, how important is it if you actually can do the job really, really well, Pierre, that you are going to be good at tech? How techie do you need to be? That's one of the easiest things to teach, right?
Well, how long is a piece of string? It's you know what I mean. If you live in London and you are what somebody quite prominent in the industry who sells training and stuff called being a gigging actor and a gigging voice actor, and I told him, so you mean somebody who make a living out of being a voice actor? That's how he called it. If you're a gigging voice actor, basically you live in London, you go to Soho every day, you don't have your own studio, well, you don't need to be techie. Sound engineers are there for that. And let's make something really straight. We're not sound engineers. We will never understand compression.
Thank you.
EQ and all that stuff. When you see people who are really super prominent in the industry who advise when we do auditions to put some little compression and stuff, fuck that. We know nothing about compression. I spoke with a sound engineer, somebody really experienced, who said it took me 3 years to understand compression, not to master it, to understand
just to
compression.
Understand it. Yeah.
Because compression is so complex. It's just so complex. EQ, okay, I can EQ my own voice because that's been my job for 30 years to work with my voice. So I know how to EQ my voice. I couldn't EQ your voice. That's not my job. I don't know how to do that. I mean, I know roughly, nasal. Hey, I'm not a sound engineer. It's their job. Let them do it.
Well, when we came off the road from voicing, we all had to have our own studios. It was a nightmare because I was like, I'm not an engineer. I mean, I really am not. And the thing is, I had an agent once in America ask me to send them an uncompressed file. And I said, well, it will be uncompressed because I don't own a compressor.
They all don't touch compression.
But my voice, I compress my own voice naturally. Because I'm experienced, right? So I've got these lovely waves. Anyway, she came back to me and said, I asked you not to use compression. This is so compressed. I was like, no, honestly, I swear to you, my life, I haven't got one. Then she sent me an example of a file that I meant to sound like. I sent it to an engineer friend of mine who said, are you serious? This is so compressed and it's terrible. He said, don't go with that agent. She does not know what she's talking about. If she thinks that, and he said, that's utter rubbish. utter rubbish what she's saying.
Wow.
So I thought, nah, I'm not going to bother with you, love. But yeah, I mean, we had to learn this stuff. I always say I'm a voice actor or voiceover that had to learn to do some tech. And when an engineer says to me, just send it me raw, I'm like, yes.
Have your own studio, then you need to know enough to make it work.
Correct. That's all you need.
You need to know how to record. You need to know how to do like a little bit of cleaning up potentially. You need to know how to cut out the shit bits and stuff, right? Like, but that's all you really need to know how to do. And here's the other thing as well.
What do you mean?
The better you get at the job, the less of that shit you have to do.
I don't know. I'm always first takes. I don't know what.
What do you mean? I don't do multiple takes. I've never forgot. Like, no, it's never happened.
Regarding acting ability and musicality, I mean, yes, you do, but we all have that. And the example I always give, and you go to a bar or a pub in the UK. Pardon me, around 9, 9 p.m. And no,
9:20 is much more interesting.
2100 or 9 p.m. And you go there, but people they've had a few pints down their neck, and all of a sudden they tell funny stories, right? And they take the voice of a granny and the voice of a child and the voice of an ogre or what have you. Everybody does that so well when they're a bit pissed and jolly, and everybody does that so well, right? Yeah. So
yes,
and nobody studied,
music.
Breathing, blah blah,
and
they're just
melody,
music or voiceovers or
blah,
anything.
blah, blah,
they do that so well. So I think that yes, acting ability and musicality, but they are absolutely necessary. But I think we all have it. What we don't have, or what we have, it other things. Like we get pissed at 9 or 10 p.m. and all of a sudden we're so funny and people sit down. There's a mic. And they read like
they
that.
freeze up. And it's because of a desire to get it right? Like the unwilling. I heard this quote the other day that the unwillingness, and I'm paraphrasing, but the unwillingness to be wrong will kill creativity faster than anything else. Good. And I think that's right for musicality, for acting, for any form of self-expression. If you're trying real hard to get it right, everything fucking dies.
Yeah,
well, and they read out loud. They read all of a sudden. They're not, talking to people. They read out loud, trying to put the right tone on. And
it's making somebody else's words sound like they're coming out of your own heart and mind, isn't it?
Yes.
That's one of the hard things of being a voice actor, sounding like we're genuinely saying these things.
You know what? I'm old enough and I travelled enough in my life to have been lucky to hear, like, the elders around the fireplace telling a story at night, or on village squares in Africa or in Asia, and people coming telling stories, the storytellers of the village. Well, it can be an accountant or a fisherman or a farmer or what have you during the day. They're not actors. They never studied anything. Fuck me. Sometimes,
humans, right?
Sometimes it's bad, but sometimes you sit and you take off. And with them, it's like they transport you into their story, and there you go. So yes, we do.
This is why embodiment is such a big deal, Pierre.
Yes,
you mentioned embodiment earlier, right? When you were talking about how you like to get actors to, or performers or voiceover talent, or whoever you're using, you like them to embody their character, right? They're not playing a character; they're embodying, right? And that's hard. Right? It's people forget how to be embodied, because to be embodied, you have to be vulnerable, and you can't have any masks up, and you can't have it's not pretend. It's real. You're in it.
It's to get naked. It's the onions.
Stories that, right.
It's the onions. It's not adding coats.
Right? Yeah, it's peeling them away. And the stories that transport us are the ones where people get completely involved in their storytelling, and they're there, and we get sucked into it. Because they're so embodied and so present. And that's
we all know how to do it. We all know how to do it, but
But on call, like now, like that's the hard
now.
But
yes,
and there in an environment, because the acoustic environment of a booth is not normal, so our brain is like, shit, it sounds like outside, but I'm inside, blah blah blah. And there's gear, there's things around, and all that.
There's people watching,
and all of a sudden,
there's people listening.
Yeah.
But listen, I've been told by my boss here.
Is it rap time?
No, that I need to know. I've got a couple of things. So first of all, because I do want you to do some shameless self-promotion at the end of this, because I am a coach that's so secure in my coaching ability that I only want people to work with the best coaches. And then if they don't want to work with me, here's 2 great coaches that you can work with. So that's why I've got you on here as well. But before that, very quickly, I would like spicy stances, any unpopular opinions, and spicy takes on anything industry coaching related. Don't use names if you can help it.
Ladies first. Go on, Deanna.
Oh my gosh. We've kind of covered it, to be honest.
We kind of have.
I think, firstly, demos. Here's a bit of a spicy take on demos, all right? This is 2 ends of the scale, okay? The one end of the scale is do not get talked into paying for a fucking pro demo. Like, just like you have to decide to do that when you're ready. And anyone who is like, you must have you must do your pro demo early is an idiot, right? But also, the idea that people can't make their own demos these days, I think, is fucked up. Now, like at certain levels, your demo has to be appropriate for the standard of work that you are trying to pursue, okay? Yep. So if you're pursuing high-end advertising work, don't make your own demo unless you're a fucking banging commercial producer. And if you're a banging commercial producer, you're not working as a voiceover talent. You're working as a commercial producer, right? Yeah. So if you want to work at that level, don't make your own demo. But if you're just starting and you're an independent freelance talent, right, and someone tells you that you will get blacklisted if you make your own demo, tell them to fuck off. It's just bollocks.
Don't pay $3,000 for it.
Right? Exactly. It's so bad, okay? Learn how to make your own when you are just starting. It'll teach you about demos. It'll teach you about it'll teach you how to flow things together. And then when you need something that is of a higher standard than what you can produce, right? Your work outstrips your ability to make a demo that reflects your talent and your ability and shows where you want to work, then go outsource that shit to someone who knows what they're doing. But are you talking about
people who had no coaching? Because I get to do a system when people make their own demos and then they send them to me for say, what do you think? And I give them honest feedback. Because if you make your own demo, you've never had a voice coaching session, it's not going to be very good.
It's going to be terrible.
It's going to be terrible. And therefore, if you send it out...
But the first version of everything is terrible, right? This is the thing.
Of course it's going to be shit. It's normal.
It's totally
they're not
normal.
Going to get work from it.
Get your shit out of the way. Right? And it just teaches you so much. And the best way to learn how to do demos is to listen to other demos and emulate other demos and try to work out what's good about them and stuff. And that will teach you so much about your own skills and it'll show you the gaps as well. And like, I think making demos yourself is a really important part of becoming a good, becoming a good talent, right?
Yeah, I heard a demo that was made for somebody who played me their friend's demo at the weekend, and not only was every voice the same timbre, the same level, the same anything, but the rhythm was all the same, and it was all like this, the whole thing. And it was like, why is this person's paid a lot of money for this demo, and
which is terrible?
Because they actually had a good voice. The person had a good voice.
Yeah,
that's
I mean, I put my own demos together all the time. Right?
Yeah, but
from
you've got
work I've done, right? But then also what I'll do is when I want it to sound fucking good, I'll grab the tracks that I want on it and I'll send them off to a producer and say, like, put this together for me.
Make this sound even better.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, spicy stories. I mean, you're not known for not being spicy. What were you saying? Don't pay how much for a demo?
Don't pay $3,000 for a demo.
No.
Not in the UK. Obscene. People laugh if you ask that.
Yeah.
I just think it's too much money.
In America, they think it's nothing. They think the more you pay for it, the better it's going to be, and that's not necessarily going to be
rubbish.
Yeah, but man, it's a journey, man. You know, I mean, if you need to pay $3,000 for a demo, I mean, maybe it's not really.
Well, if you pay $3,000 for a demo, you better earn some money back pretty damn quick, unless it's just a hobby. You know, unless it's
It's a
just
fucking expensive
and
hobby.
it depends
My
also.
God.
It depends also what comes with the demo.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, maybe there's coaching or whatever, but just for a demo, that seems.
Yeah. I know
That's
people don't
too
understand.
much.
And when the other thing that I always find funny, and I did this with somebody the other day, they came here and they made short commercial demo. And basically I said, go outside, run around, because you're now going into corporate land. And the amount of times I've heard people's demos and I've said, oh, you made these on the same day. How did you know? Because I can hear in your voice you haven't got out of commercial. I can hear it in the corporate. You need to have a complete break, because only good voices, really experienced voices, can go corporate, commercial, on hold. This, that, whatever they're doing, gaming.
Yeah.
You can't. Most people can't
Practice,
switch
isn't
that
it?
quickly.
Yeah.
So
that takes a lot of time to learn.
Self-promotion.
Well, no. Hang on. About pet
Are you being
peeves.
spicy?
There's more spice.
Peeves.
There's more spice. Hit us with the pepper,
Right.
Pierre. Woo!
Right. And dear twats. People who go on social media. People who go on social media. I mean, I'm a quiet man now. I'm reformed, and but it really wakes up the violent man in me.
When they tell you
I just want to slap them. Oh, just did something. Can't talk about it. NDA, etc. But shut the fuck up. Once you've done the job, and it's brilliant, and it's great, and it's the biggest job you ever did, and you're gonna make millions of. That is fucking fantastic. Promote the shit out of it. Go for it everywhere, because that's how we advertise ourselves. You know, that's how we present our work. So fucking advertise it, show it everywhere, of course. But NDA, shut the fuck up.
Also, when people
That's what it
the most
means.
exciting thing has happened to me, but I can't talk about it.
That's what it means, exactly.
That's what fucking NDA means. NDA should be STFU, right? Like, that's really what NDA should be.
Yeah.
Which stands for...
And also behind that, there is this. There is this.
Well done, STFU.
But there's this kind of perverse thing of people who post in groups, LinkedIn or Facebook or what have you, of voice actors, and they say, "Oh, I've just done that," and really, what it means is, look, I'm so good. I just had this thing, but I can't talk about it and all that. Going and tell other actors, or even if it's on your profile, it's just like, it's this boasting thing. If you're that
it's
good.
It's like humble bragging, isn't it? Look, we're going to get told off now. I was just going to say as well, the other thing that makes me very unpopular is people put demos up and saying, oh, please be nice. I've made this demo. What do you think?
Yeah, please be nice.
Goes, it's so good. It's brilliant. I'm listening to it. I'm going, okay, well, yeah, the order's not right. You sound too similar in this one, that one. Nobody likes it. Oh, that Tanya, she's so horrible. Well, I'm so truthful. Okay, now, so there's me. That's me promoting myself. Come on, we have to do this year. So come on then, Pierre, be succinct. Why should
Deanna first?
Coach with you? Why?
Ladies first.
No, you go first this time. You said that last time, Pierre. It's your turn first.
Well, I'm French.
Sexist ladies first bullshit.
First,
Off you go.
Ladies first.
Frenchmen first.
Yeah, I mean, people call it sexist. I call it French. Well, that's how my parents raised me.
Oh, whatever. You don't get to write off fucking sexist shit by that's what my parents told me.
Yeah,
ladies first. I stand by it. Ladies first.
Just say your famous trap line for me, please. This is why you should work with Pierre, because he's going to now say one of his most famous commercial lines ever. You don't know what it is. I'm going to hit you.
No, what is that? I just don't.
It begins with a D. It's a famous perfume.
Oh, right, that. So you want me to say the line?
I do, yeah.
I'll say the line for you. Hang on, because it's not in my kind of.
Oh, don't start.
He hasn't warmed up already.
What was it? Oh, yeah, that's just 5 words, is it? Dolce & Gabbana, light blue.
Oh, did you
there
feel
you
that?
My love. Oh,
my chair just vibrated then. Not all unnecessary in my nethers.
You know what? Though? I recall.
She's just pouring water all over herself.
Do you know what? I recorded that in 2007, and it is still aired today.
Yes, we know, and we're all jealous and hate you.
Wow.
The world over. So
5
every 3
words.
years,
Roll
they come in to
forever.
renegotiate. Every 3 years they come to renegotiate the rights worldwide, all media. So that's
Oh,
nice.
what a shame.
That's awesome. Like, all right,
No,
that's
no,
me done for the next 3 years.
I'm so jealous. I am so
I'm
jealous.
very
I can't
lucky.
believe I even like you because of that, but I do. So that's why you should work with Pierre. Deanna, come on.
Yeah.
Why, just tell them how people, and also, sorry, first of all, you tell, how can people contact you if they want to work with you?
Pierre or me?
What,
You.
me?
You
Or-
can't.
Me.
You
Okay,
can't tell
cool.
I'm looking,
So-
can you?
No, you can't. You're just like
We're like
going
a
like
Brady
this.
bunch here.
All right, I am Deanna Cooney everywhere. So on Facebook, on Instagram, just look for @Deanna Cooney. Okay, come find me. We'll have a chat. You should just work with me because I'm fucking great. Like, really. Like, and I've been doing this for a really
Love
long
that.
time, okay? Like a really long time. And if you don't like me, go see Tanya. If you don't like Tanya, go see Pierre. You know, like, just like, that's it. Coaching corner sorted.
Thank you. And Pierre, how do they find you?
thefrenchvoice.com.
Perfect. How do you find me
Perfect.
as a coach? Richcraft.biz, as in the biz. But
you
yeah,
go.
there you go. 3 cracking coaches. Cock. We are founders of Cock.
The founding members.
No, the founding members of Cock. Yes.
Oh, that's perfect.
Can I?
Maybe
Cock's
we're the
founding
rising
members.
members. Are we the rising members of Cock?
No,
Yes,
we will be the
we are that
founding members.
too.
We will make rising members of Cock.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a stiff order, though.
What?
Oh, God.
Come on. Come on. I'm waiting.
I said that's a stiff order, though.
Oh, a stiff order.
Yes.
Oh, well, it is for some people,
Yeah, absolutely.
and not for me. Not after you read what you just said. I'm just telling you. All right,
All
hold
that
on
Dolce
here.
and Gabbana deepness.
Thank you so much for listening to Tanya Talks to Pierre Maubouche. I want to call you Maubouche because it just sounds sexier.
Well,
And
other people do. Feel free.
and
Tanya.
Deanna Cooney, gorgeous as always, with wonderful arms, which I have arm envy. Look at those muscles. And look at me, I'm just getting the shoulders out. That's it. Right. Thank you all for your time and enjoy the podcast, everybody. Bye for now.
Thanks for having me. It was so
Bye,
fun.
guys. Thank you.
Bye.